Have you ever felt like there's a deeper calling in your life, one that sets you apart from everyone around you? Maybe you've recognized subtle signs, a magnetism toward the unknown, an unshakable intuition guiding your steps, or uncanny synchronicities that defy coincidence. If so, you might be one of those rare souls tapped by a higher power for a unique mission. But before you share that conviction with anyone else, consider this your final warning. What you reveal about your gifts could become your greatest vulnerability. The world is full of curious eyes and eager ears, waiting to feast on anything out of the ordinary. If you felt compelled to proclaim every spiritual experience, insight, or struggle, know that a silent battle wages against you. By handing out the sacred details of your calling too freely, you risk losing the shield of divine protection that stands between you and the destructive forces of ignorance, envy, and malevolence. This message isn't meant to frighten you, it's meant to protect you from what lurks beyond your sight. Let's journey into the hidden realms of what it truly means to be chosen, the hidden dangers of oversharing, and the undeniable power that dwells in strategic silence. To be chosen is to carry an invisible badge of destiny, something that sets you apart, whether you've asked for it or not. It's a phenomenon that spans across cultures and centuries, from prophets in sacred texts to modern individuals who sense they've been awakened to a special mission. Yet alongside these blessings, controversies have flared up in every generation. Well-known spiritual figures exposing their most intimate visions, only to face backlash, betrayal, or ridicule. In recent years, social media has fueled this trend. People post every spiritual encounter, angel numbers, dreams, transformative moments, and then find themselves drowning in a wave of doubt or judgment from strangers. The very essence of being chosen carries a higher standard of responsibility, and not everyone who listens to your story actually desires your success. This shadow side has led to speculation that many online spiritual gurus simply made themselves larger targets when they revealed too much, too soon. Think of your calling like a precious artifact. If you parade it around town without its protective casing, it's prone to cracks, theft, and mishandling by those who fail to see its true value. The harsh truth is that most individuals won't understand how to treat your gift. They might dismiss it, scorn it, or even weaponize it. This is why it's crucial for chosen souls to move with intentional secrecy, at least until the right time arrives for their truths to shine. Few things can derail a divine mission faster than oversharing. It may feel innocent at first. Maybe you're excited to share a recent insight or a mystical vision that changed your perspective. After all, who wouldn't want to spread wisdom that could uplift others? But the danger lies in how easily sacred knowledge becomes trivialized, manipulated, or misunderstood once it leaves the safety of your inner circle. In online communities, stories abound of individuals who exposed every nuance of their spiritual journey, only to invite unforeseen chaos. They became magnets for trolls, critics, and opportunists, all eager to poke holes in a story they barely understood. Some content creators, flush with initial success, began facing accusations of being phony or exploitative. Soon, controversies erupted around them. Followers questioned the authenticity of what they once regarded as divine teaching. Your personal revelations aren't just interesting anecdotes. They carry spiritual power. Like a highly charged battery, each insight can energize others or shock them into cynicism. Once out in the open, Your revelations belong to the public domain, meaning people can twist them into narratives you never intended. Oversharing is not just a social risk, it's a spiritual gamble, one that can drain your vitality and expose your most tender vulnerabilities to the world's harshest elements. If oversharing is the root of many spiritual pitfalls, then discretion is the antidote. Wise teachers through the ages have practiced secrecy around their esoteric knowledge. Some of the most transformative teachings in various traditions were transmitted only after stringent tests of commitment. Why? Because truth too powerful or nuanced for the unprepared mind can cause confusion, or worse, when placed in the wrong hands. Consider how fragile a seed is when it's first planted. If you dig it up too soon to show everyone its progress, you'll stunt its development and prevent it from maturing. The same principle applies to your spiritual insights. They require the nourishment of contemplation, reflection, and continued prayer or meditation before you expose them to the sometimes searing light of public scrutiny. In many recent controversies, certain spiritual influencers were quick to share downloads they received, visions, prophecies, or cosmic revelations. Then, as soon as these were posted, watchers dissected every word, attributing hidden motives or claiming heresy. The backlash disrupted the original message and, in extreme cases, incited entire groups to turn hostile. While sharing knowledge can be noble, doing so at the wrong time can sabotage even the purest revelations. Your vulnerabilities are equally sacred. Struggles and weaknesses are part of the human experience, but not everyone deserves a front-row seat to them. Revealing deep personal wounds to someone who hasn't earned your trust is like handing a loaded weapon to a stranger. Far too often, what begins as an attempt to foster closeness or empathy ends in betrayal or emotional scarring. Guard these delicate parts of yourself until you're certain of a person's intentions. One of the least discussed hazards of oversharing is the unseen influence of spiritual forces. Anytime you reveal hidden aspects of your soul, be it your mission, your sensitive struggles, or your divine downloads, you effectively open a door that others, and sometimes darker energies, can walk through. This leaves you vulnerable to spiritual attack, draining your emotional resilience and weakening the armor of faith around you. Some people relate stories of feeling a heaviness after sharing too much online, describing unexpected nightmares, sudden health issues, or an unshakable sense of being watched. Skeptics may brush off these accounts as coincidence, but those who walk the spiritual path know how real these oppressive energies can feel. Additionally, manipulative individuals sometimes latch onto overshared information to gain emotional control, using personal details as ammunition for gaslighting or blackmail. When you protect your secrets, you're not just withholding information, you're safeguarding your spiritual core. Much like turning off lights at night to keep intruders guessing whether anyone's home, you maintain a layer of anonymity that discourages opportunists. By practicing protective prayer, meditation, or other spiritual disciplines, you uphold a strong fortress against negativity. Remember, your spiritual sovereignty is a gift. Let no one breach it by freely handing them the keys. Silence isn't empty, quite the contrary. In spiritual contexts, silence is a sacred act that can resonate with divine energies more powerfully than any spoken word. The practice of maintaining a vow of silence or quietly meditating on revelations is found in many faith traditions. Far from signifying weakness or ignorance, Silence sharpens the mind and stills the inner turmoil that clouds clarity. Think about historical figures who spent years in contemplative isolation, monastics in desert caves, hermits in mountains, or holy people in cloistered convents. They discovered truths untainted by external clamor. Their messages shook the world when at last they emerged to share them. Yet if they'd tried broadcasting those ideas prematurely, their teachings might have been dismissed or torn apart by those unable to grasp their depth. In today's hyperactive age, refusing to overshare is often seen as suspicious or aloof. People might label it secretive or antisocial. But for those who cherish their spiritual calling, silence can be a loyal companion. It grants space for divine wisdom to settle in the heart, for introspection to replace frantic chatter, and for spiritual authority to blossom without interference. Silence isn't about shutting others out. It's about letting the voice of the divine speak more audibly within. Knowing when to break silence is as essential as the discipline of guarding it. There is a divine timing to every plan. Just as seeds sprout in due season, you too have critical windows in which your revelations will carry maximum impact. Revealing something important too late might mean you miss the window where it's needed. Revealing it too soon might lead to confusion, rejection, or destructive backlash. Look at the controversies of spiritual teachers who famously announced cosmic prophecies or personal awakenings on public platforms. If these revelations aligned with a readiness in the collective consciousness, they sparked revolutions of thought. If they didn't, ridicule and disbelief overshadowed any positive influence. In some cases, the uproar overshadowed the truth, burying what might have been a necessary message for humanity. The universe moves in cycles and patterns. Discernment will guide you to sense or feel when the climate is right. Perhaps you'll notice repeated synchronicities or experience a strong internal urging that now is the time. If you sense hesitation or anxiety, it might be wise to wait and continue nurturing the insight in private. After all, pearls don't form overnight, and neither do revelations meant to reshape minds and hearts. Every chosen individual has a mission that extends beyond personal gain. Whether you feel called to heal, teach, create, or transform societal norms, your mission is deeply entwined with your soul's purpose. Such missions thrive only when their guardian, you, protects them from contamination. This doesn't mean forming an impenetrable wall around yourself, but rather exercising measured caution about who you allow into your sacred space. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. Think of your spiritual energy as a delicate ecosystem. Any invasive species can disrupt the entire balance. That's why you should be vigilant about the people you confide in. Not everyone is capable of honoring your uniqueness. Some might actively undermine it. Rumors persist about spiritual movements that collapsed due to internal betrayal, driven by jealousy or the hunger for power. Similar outcomes occur on a personal level when you confide in the wrong confidant. Trust and vulnerability must be earned, not offered blindly. As you move through life, discern who genuinely seeks to support your purpose and who merely wants the thrill of your secrets. These energy vampires can masquerade as sincere friends or mentors, but their real motive is to siphon your light. By preserving your revelations for those who've proven their loyalty and understanding, you maintain the purity of your path and keep your spiritual wellspring abundantly full. Every step you take toward your calling will attract both admirers and detractors. That is the duality of public revelation. But you have the power to limit how much of yourself becomes public domain. There's nothing more tragic than watching a chosen soul lose their way because they presented their innermost gems to an unprepared audience. Let this message be the seed of caution that keeps you from making a similar mistake. Reflect on the quieter side of spiritual power, the side that flourishes when hidden from prying eyes. The sense of peace you'll find in discretion outweighs the fleeting applause that might come from public recognition. In the end, you'll realize that the confidence you cultivate in silence offers far greater rewards. Once you align with divine timing and maintain your spiritual boundaries, you free yourself from the pressure to constantly justify or prove your journey. Some individuals will label you mysterious or overly cautious. Let them. There is a certain mystique in safeguarding what the divine has entrusted to you. In a world obsessed with instant validation, your choice to guard sacred truths stands out as radical integrity. Remain steadfast in that integrity. This is your final warning and your bold invitation to a path of greater depth, power, and alignment. By now you understand that to be chosen is to bear both the blessing and the burden of insight. This message isn't about fear, it's about awareness. You do not have to make every revelation public to honor the source that gave it to you. On the contrary, your role might be to protect that revelation until it's strong enough to face the relentless winds of criticism and exploitation. Receive this caution as an act of divine love, reminding you that some gifts are meant to remain cocooned until they can safely fly. Resist the urge to feed a world hungry for novelty, but lacking the discernment to value what is truly sacred. Protecting your secrets and timing your words preserves the sanctity of your calling and ensures that, when you do speak, your voice carries the depth of truth that only careful cultivation can foster. Your journey continues far beyond this moment, evolving in the silence where genuine transformation takes root. Embrace the power of strategic stillness and watch how your mission flourishes when nourished by the richness of solitude. When the right hour comes, and you'll know it in your bones, step forward with unwavering conviction, prepared to share what was once hidden. May your silence be your shield, your discretion be your guide, and your faith be the unbreakable anchor that holds you steady in a stormy sea. Remember, you've been warned, but you've also been invited to a life of profound purpose, unshakable protection, and the freedom that comes with guarding the most precious parts of your soul. Choose wisely what you reveal and what you conceal. In doing so, you not only safeguard your destiny, but you honor the sacred calling that marks you as one of the few who walk this extraordinary path.